It's been a while since my last video, but now that school is over and I'm done with finals, I had to come back. I don't mean to brag or like toot my own horn or anything, but I did my thing in those finals. You know what I'm saying? I was locked in like 2018 LeBron.
All worthy politicians will look up and shout. Say less. And I'll whisper. No.
Coming in the summer, I kept saying that I was gonna make more video essays and I was going, get on it. I kept posting on my story on Instagram, telling myself this week I'm gonna drop a video essay. And like to the few people who do watch these, I bet they roll their eyes every single time they see that because I was not staying true to my word at all.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
With, X-Men 97 coming back, I just thought I'd get on here and give my perspective on why I personally align more with Magneto and why I really, really dislike Professor X. Like, it's bad. Like, I really hate that man. He's on my hate list. Yes, I admit it. But without further ado, the X-Men. In the Marvel Universe, the mutants are discriminated against heavily. Like, they can't even walk down the street without being persecuted. Now, as previously stated, I really dislike Professor X for a multitude of reasons. Like, he's a type to use his powers on you and mess with your mind. And then when you figure out what he did, he'll tell you it's for the greater good, right? For example, the original X-Men team was Beast, Angel, Iceman, Jean Grey, and Cyclops, right? And then after the first team went missing on this island, he formed the second team to like get them back, right? But in between these two teams, there was another team, like a 1.5, right? So he took these mutants and instead of properly training them, he used his powers to make them think that they, went through the proper training, sent them out there on this mission to get the first X-Men team back, right? And all of them ended up missing and or dead. All of them, right? So when Cyclops came back, Professor X just wiped his memory of the entire event. And what makes it even worse is that one of the mutants on that team that went missing was Cyclops' brother. This is also the same man who took Jean Grey in when she was like a little girl. So he's like a father figure to her. And in one of the comics, he admitted that he was in love with her. I'm gonna put the panel up on the screen because it's crazy work. When she was like 15 or 16 too when he said this. So he's a weirdo too. He's a bum, right? But for me, and that's already bad. But my biggest, gripe / problem with Professor X comes in his approach to the discrimination of the mutants, right? He wants to prove to humans that mutants aren't a threat in their peaceful manners. And I get that, but it comes across as him seeking to make the humans more comfortable in their bigotry instead of actually fixing and or changing the institutions in place that treat mutants so terribly. And that's not me saying that mutants aren't dangerous, because some of them be wilding. Like, look at the Brotherhood of Evil, for example. Like, come on.
Give Senator Kelly a little message from the Brotherhood. There's no stopping the mutants. And we're coming for him next.
Despite the mutants out there who are actually dangerous, it is unfair to punish the collective for the actions of a few. When you have someone, a mutant, who has something as simple as just having butterfly wings, that's her only mutant ability is having butterfly wings, and they hunt her down, beat her half to death, and break her wings simply for existing. When you have a government that has made killer robots to hunt you and your people down, most of whom are innocent men, women, and children, when you have so many of your people being killed on a daily basis because of something they were born with, because of something they cannot change or control, you're allowing the very same people you're trying to help to be hurt while you get buddy with the people hurting them and trying to convince them to change their mind. Now, this isn't me saying that I align with everything that Magneto says or does, but when you got Magneto hitting you with fire lines like this,
With all UN nations,
Most other nations don't allow a terrorist to be their leader.
yet so many allow their leaders to be terrorists.
it becomes difficult to really see him as a quote-unquote villain when he's low-key making sense sometimes, a lot of the times actually. Like, keep in mind, Magneto is a Holocaust survivor, and he has another amazing quote that I want to highlight.
When I was a child, my people talked while others prepared for war. They used reason while others used tanks, and they were destroyed for their trouble. I won't stand by and watch it happen again.
Professor X also made Magneto rewatch Holocaust flashbacks after this, by the way. Another reason I do not like him.
Your blindness has sealed your fate.
Mama! Papa!
No, don't make me see. Xavier, I can't. Stop it. Stop it. No, Magneto.
But back to what I was saying. Magneto has already been in a similar situation before. He refuses to take that kind of route, seeing where it got his people previously. And if we're being real, for the most part, he's right. Throughout history, liberation and freedom has never came without revulsion and violence. And I'm someone who is strictly against violence. But the approach that Professor X takes only allows for more mutant lives to be lost. Again, we're talking about the very same people who, when mutants left, formed their own country. They out the way. They said, you know what, y'all don't like us, we gonna leave. The humans couldn't stand that, and they've tried multiple times in the comics, in the show, to destroy their country, simply because mutants aren't allowed to just exist. So yeah, I really don't have an outro, so I'll close out by saying this. I hope that we all seek to love and understand one another better, and try to make the world a better place, one little step at a time.